Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my story as hidden identity? I am a man that is currently staying here in South Africa. I want to confess the evil things that I did against my best friend. So we used to work on a farm in Limpopo, and my friend was being taught mechanics by our boss, and then I was being trained to use the TL beam and some of the heavy machinery at that same farm where we were working. Then my friend told me that he wanted us to give each other money so that we can return back home and we do some short courses so that we can be able to get a better job. I wanted to go and to look for a job in the mines since I knew how to use your excavators, your TLBs. So I needed a certificate. So I had to go and attend a short course back home in Zim. So my friend, after we had raised money, he then ran away from his wife and he ran away from work and he started staying in town. It then happened that we heard that he had now started a business. By then I was already dating his wife because I told the wife not to follow her husband because she was going to suffer and she was supposed to stay at the farm because she had a job already. So she listened to me and she kept on staying at the farm. And when I heard that my friend had bought a car, I then visited him and I saw the place where he was working, fixing tires. What he would do is that he would go to Joburg, he would buy these used tires in bulk, and he would come and he would resell them in Limpopo and fixing people's cars. So he was making a lot of money and I became jealous. I then spoke with him and he did not know that I was being jealous of the way that he was progressing in life. After I had spoken with him, I told him that I wanted him to give me an opportunity to work for him during weekends when we were not working at the farm. He said, it is okay. You are my friend. You are my brother. So each and every Saturday and Sunday, I would be working with him. And when I saw that it was very difficult for me to also start the same business, I became jealous. And the other thing that I noticed was that there were trucks that would come, especially those people that were driving trucks that belonged to white people. They would bring their trucks and remove their tires whilst they were still in good condition. And then they would put tires that were already old because they know that the white people, they always go to big tire companies like Dunlop so that they can just have brand new tires altogether. So I knew that this was what he was doing and that was where most of his profit was coming from. So then I went to the police station and I reported the matter to the police, but the police did nothing about it. And this made me to be very angry because I wanted him to be arrested. When I saw that my plan had failed because the police, they did not investigate any further, I then returned back to his place. It was over the weekend. We were working because he was also staying at the place where he would fix the tires. There was this other truck. It was a tot liner that came and it had phone numbers that were printed on that big tent. I then took the phone numbers and I spoke with this other white woman and she was very happy and she said that she wanted me to speak with the boss. I then said, boss, I just saw your truck. It was parked at this other place. They were exchanging the tires. They were removing tires from your trailer and putting old ones. Did you give permission to your driver to do something like that? He said, no. I then said to him, if you want evidence, if you think that I am lying, here is your evidence. I then asked for his phone numbers that were on WhatsApp, and then he gave me his phone numbers and I spoke with him and I said, boss, this is the video that I took when they were busy removing tires. is this not your truck? He said, thank you very much. This is my truck. And then he went to the police. He reported the matter to the police. So that is how my friend was arrested. My friend was arrested because he had been doing that, and I got him arrested because I was jealous, because I was dating his wife, remember. And since I was dating his wife, the woman now, she wanted to return back to her husband because he now had a car and he was making a lot of money. So I did not want to lose the woman because she was very beautiful. So then that was when he got arrested. That is how I destroyed his business. To this very day, I feel so guilty because of the things that I did. I should have never done something like that. I just feel so guilty that my jealousy made me to do something like that. When you post my story, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Your dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with our brother in the comment section. He is teaching us something, an important lesson, that when you have started your business, don't trust even those that you think were your closest friend. Do not trust them, because when you involve them in your business, you never know. Maybe they will only come to work with you so that they can destroy you. I guess it is true when they say that what they do not know, they will never be able to destroy. But if they know more about you, they will be able to destroy you or to destroy your business. Do you agree or not? Let us move over to our next confession. The following story that I'm going to be sharing with you, it was sent to me by one of our dear brother, who is saying that he is stuck in South Africa. And the message that he sent to me, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? This is my confession. We were paid $100 as the youth for this other political party to go around the locations to beat people in Harare. And now we are being followed by the spirit of these other men that we murdered during those years when there was a lot of political violence. And it did not start with me. There was a time when there was almost a civil war that happened in Zim, and there were soldiers that were sent to Ndebele land. I'm pretty sure that most of you now understand the story of what happened, how many people were killed there in Ndebele land because of what was happening during those years. So my father, he was part of the soldiers that were sent there. My father confessed that he murdered 14 people, and these people that he murdered, they all belonged to the same family. He rounded them up and he put them in a round hut, and then he started to burn that mud hut since it had a thatched roof. So it was easy to burn that house, and all those people, he said that they died, and he kept on shooting at them so that he can make sure that all of them had passed away. So this spirit has been following our family for a very long time. Even my grandfather, he was someone that used a lot of charms. He gave me this other charm that they call Mangoromera in Shona. So this charm, when they give it to you, you will have the strength like the strength that Samson had. You can fight with a lot of people and they will never be able to defeat you. That is why I was drafted into the youth league, and not just your normal youth league. No, we were like a secret police. We would go around beating people, but we were being sent by big politicians. So there was a time when there was a referendum period in Zimbabwe. We were given $100 each to beat people in our location who were causing trouble, who were telling people to vote like the way that they wanted, not to be intimidated. That is what they told us. No explanations, no questions. I used to smoke a lot of marijuana at that time, and I was a heavy drinker. So all that I did was to drink and to smoke 24/7. I was different from the man that I am right now. I had no understanding. I was like a wild animal, and I was violent. They used to call me Dread or Rasta because people, they feared me because they knew that I could fight with 10, 20 men at the same time, and I would defeat them. I was too young, and I was jobless, and we were being used by big politicians so that they can get whatever that they wanted. We did it. A lot of blood was shed. This is how we killed the men that we found on that night. So this man, he was a political activist for the opposition party. Most of you know it as MDC, the one that was being led by Tsvangirai. So he was walking around the location, house to house, as he was giving people flyers so that they can be able to vote like the way that they wanted to. So we met him. He was on the highway. He had a bag. We passed him. We did not even suspect that he was a political activist, as we had just passed him with our truck that we used to move around with. That was when the driver stopped the truck. This man, if he had kept on running in the highway or to return back to where he was coming from, he was going to survive, because there was a lot of people that were still walking around in the location. But the fatal mistake that he did was that he ran into the bushes. We then climbed down from our truck, including the driver. Then we started following him. We ran and we chased after him. There was one guy that we were with. He then picked up a rock and he threw that rock towards that man as he was running, and we had the sound of his spinal cord breaking. He fell to the ground. By the time that we arrived at the place where he had fallen down, he was breathing so heavily. Even his tongue was out of his mouth and his eyes were wide open. He was about to die. We then started kicking him, even though I did not want to participate in killing him, but I was afraid, because when you are moving around with people like that, you have to participate in the beating. If you do not beat that person, then they will say that you are getting soft. Even when I kicked only once, another guy said, "What's wrong, Dread? Are you going soft?" So I pulled out my small plastic bag that had my weed, and then I started to roll my marijuana and I started smoking, and I pretended as if I was urinating, standing at a distance, because I did not want to be the one that will strike the last blow that will kill that man. And after he had died, we left him in the bushes. We returned to our truck and we continued with our patrol, looking for trouble makers, as we used to call them, noise makers. So this was what we did, but this did not start with me. Let me tell you a story about my father. It started with my father. My father was already in the army, but he was drafted into a special army unit. That unit was sent to Ndebeleland soon after the wars of liberation. That is when it happened. He was sent to Ndebeleland to deal with what they called dissidents. These were Ndebele-speaking army people that wanted to start a civil war. So they had been gathering some weapons, according to what my father used to say. So they were given a task to move from one village to another, looking for those weapons and to punish those that were caught hiding the guns, the weapons of war. So my father was part of that team that was sent to Ndebeleland. So this was like a war between the Shona people and the Ndebele-speaking people. My father came back different. This happened before I was even born. So when my father came back, growing up with my father, it was so traumatic. It was very traumatizing, because my father was a violent man. He was traumatized by what he did, killing 14 people on his own, burning people until they had died. So it traumatized him. He was quiet. He was always violent. He always beat up my mother whenever he felt like it. And my father, he was violent even when he was fast asleep. You would see that he is fighting with people in his dreams. He would wake up screaming. He was always drunk. He was a broken man. Before my father passed away, he then called all the family members and he said, please look for a traditional healer because I want to confess. A traditional healer was brought from Mutoko. When this traditional healer came to our house, all the relatives were there. He told us that one day when they were patrolling in this other village there in Ndebele land, they entered into this other compound after they had gathered some information, and they found guns that were hidden at this other family's house. He then was given an order to lock 14 family members inside the hut. There was an elderly woman who was the mother to the owner of that house, the owner of the weapons, and the father, he was old as well. Then the man, his wives, including all of his children, they were locked inside a mud hut, and children, men and women, all of them, when they were leaving that compound, my father was given an order, and as a soldier, he had to listen and to do as he had been told. He then returned back to the compound. He said his people that he was with, they were standing outside of the compound. He was then given an order to burn them alive. My father said that he threw a bottle that had a cloth that was burning, and this bottle, it was full of petrol. And since this was a thatched roof, my father said that it did not take time and it was windy. It started burning. That mud hut started burning from the roof and it was falling inside. So those people that were inside, they started screaming. My father was then given an instruction to take position, to shoot, to kill anyone that would try to escape from the fire that was burning. My father said that he took position and he aimed at that mud hut. Anyone that tried to leave, he would shoot. He said that he saw children that would stick their heads out trying to breathe, and he would open fire on them. There was no one, my father said, that escaped. He said that he did not know how many bullets he fired, for he was using an AK-47. He just kept on opening fire and reloading and opening fire to those innocent people. He said that he felt as if he was possessed by a spirit on that day that caused him to keep on shooting until he was stopped from continuing with the shooting because all the people had died. When my father said this, then his relatives, they said that they did not want to assist him. My father died of depression because he would hear the voices of the people that he had killed. They said that we want you to go and to tell our relatives that this is what you did so that you can pay. So one of my father's elder brother, who had money in the family, he said, this little meeting that you have planned, you want to destroy my wealth, because the traditional healer was saying that a lot of cows are going to be needed for the cleansing ceremony. So all of you, you have to help your relative, even though what he did, he killed people, but he is your blood. Everything that will happen is going to affect all of you. So my father's relatives, they said that deal with your own story. We are Christians. We do not believe in this type of a cleansing. You are the one who murdered this Ndebele people. Sort it out on your own. My father was a poor man. He could not even afford a single cow so that he can go and do the cleansing ceremony back in Ndebele land. So my father died, but he did not die a peaceful death. In his last days, my father would scream at night. He was just a madman. My father had gone to the shops and he had bought a toy gun that looked like an AK-47, but it was a plastic toy gun. My father in his last days, he would get out of the house and he would take position talking to people that we did not even see, as if there was a big gunfight that was happening, as if he was in a battlefield. He would roll on the floor just like what the soldiers do, and he would be holding that toy gun and it would be like grrr, 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 like a machine, as if he was shooting at people with his AK-47. He died making those noise, shaking, sweating, screaming, and he kept on talking about the things that he did. And my father passed away. After my father died, things started happening, not immediately, slowly. We kept on having a lot of bad luck. We had this other brother of ours. He used to work as a police officer in the CID department. He just stopped going to work. Later on, he passed away. And the other thing that was so scary that started happening was that my elder brother's daughter started screaming whenever she was possessed. She had never been to Blawayo. These children have never been to Ndebele land. They do not know how to speak Ndebele, but whenever they are possessed by the spirit of the people that were murdered by our father, they always scream and they say, Siacha, Siacha, Siafa, Siafa, we are burning, and they will be rolling on the ground as if they are dying and they are burning, they are being burnt to death, and it is very painful to watch. As for me, ever since I came to South Africa, I just work so that I can give people money. To someone, it might be something that you can't understand. You'll say, why don't you just stay single? I can't. It's like I am controlled by this spirit. The moment that I get a job and I start working, I start to date these women and I fall in love, and it is like demonic love, and I won't be able to control myself. I give that woman so much money, and by the end of the year, I will find out that I don't have any money. I have done nothing than to take care of those women. As I'm speaking with you, this year, I have achieved nothing. I have been dating these two Ndebele women. I have helped them to build their houses there in Blawayo. And here in South Africa, I pay for their rent. I can't control myself. This happened even when I was still in Zim. I had a good job and I met this other woman that was from Ndebele land. I ended up buying a lot of cattle for him and she took them to Ndebele land. This has been happening over and over again. So we once tried to speak with some other big politicians from our area, and when we spoke with those big politicians, you know what they did? They brought this other traditional healer that was from Malawi. They did not want us to be helped, just like what the spirit of these people that were murdered by my father were suggesting for. They said, go and speak with our relatives. They will tell you what they want so that the cleansing ceremony can be done. But those big politicians, they said no. They gave us a Malawian traditional healer, and this man then said, what we can do is that I am going to make sure that these spirits of the people that were murdered by your father will never be able to speak again to bother you. So he wanted to give us a tokoloshi and we refused. So we are looking for a traditional healer that won't tell us about doing rituals to block the spirits of these people that were killed by my father. All that they want is a cleansing ceremony to be done, but they say that a lot of cows are going to be needed, but we are poor, we do not have anything. If I get money, all that I think about is women, and I can't control myself. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Let us try to speak with our brother in the comment section. strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Do you have someone in your family that killed someone? Is there anything that is weird that has been happening ever since your relative killed another person? Did you also kill someone? You got arrested, or maybe you came out of prison after you had killed someone? Please bring your confessions as well, and we share them on our platform.